Maverick News, the antivirus program for your mind. And now, the Freedom Reporters.
Also, what else? I want to talk about Roger Waters, and I'm sure you probably would like to do that as well, because
I got a lot to say about that.
Of course. Let me find that they're coming after him because of the outfit that he wears during his concerts, right?
He's been wearing that outfit for like 40 years.
Yeah.
Literally, since the wall.
Yeah.
I guess you have to be old to know that, but apparently these people in charge don't know about the wall. And the State Department spokesman was even asked about it the other day at the briefing by Matt Lee, the Associated Press.
Yeah.
He's like, haven't you ever heard of the wall? And this guy at the State Department's like, nope, what is that? He had no idea what Matt Lee was talking about. Unreal. These are the people running our country. So yeah, there's Roger. In his outfit. And if you know the movie, and I'm sure there's a lot of Pink Floyd fans out there who know the album and know the movie, they know the story of Pink. You know, the character is Pink. And in the movie, he was played by Bob Geldof, the Boomtown Rats. And there's a scene, of course, where he's pretending to be essentially a Hitler type character, a totalitarian leader. So this is all theater, and it is a protest against fascism. Now they've twisted it.
And he's being accused now because of this. And I think was he in Manchester when they decided to lay charges against him?
It was Berlin.
And because they're saying he's being anti-Semitic.
Give me a break. That's because of his position on Israel and Palestine.
Right.
And they're conflating the two. Right?
Yes.
They're trying to take these images of him playing the character of Pink in his Nazi uniform and try to say, see, he's a Nazi. He hates Jews, which is nothing could be further from the truth. And if you listen to Roger, good. I'm glad you found this clip. And, you know, Twitter took this down for about a day or so.
Is that right?
Yes,
wow.
They did yesterday. And then people raised so much hell about it. Twitter restored this interview where
Twitter took this down, and they're supposed to be the free speech platform.
You know, the same free speech platform that still has banned Scott Ritter. And Scott Ritter's been banned 5 times.
If we run this, are we going to get hammered on YouTube, Facebook, or elsewhere?
You just never know anymore, Rick. I think it's safe to play. I guess we can play it and find out.
Oh my God, I don't want to.
As far as I know, YouTube isn't censoring discussion of the Israel-Palestine conflict. They're just censoring talk of.
Well, this is right now on YouTube. Like this clip is on YouTube.
Yeah,
but that doesn't stop them.
That doesn't seem to make any difference.
Like
anymore.
I don't understand. Like I don't know.
The rules or whatever they make up from one moment to the next.
Right. So how long has this been? Let me just check this and see how long this has been up. I mean, I don't want to.
And it was just on Twitter, and then they took it down, and then they put it back up. So at least Twitter eventually did do the right thing, but they took it down for a while, which was weird.
Well, this is on Double Down News. He did this interview. It's been up for 5 days. They haven't taken it down off there. We're not going to run the whole thing. We're just going to run a clip. So please, YouTube, please don't ban us again.
We're already on strike too.
Oh my God. What a crazy mixed up world we live in. But here's Roger Waters responding to all of this craziness and an effort to deplatform him.
We can vilify him. We can probably destroy him. And we will get him in the end. Well, no, you won't. Because it is a lie. You can gather as many fucking morons together as you want to repeat your lie, but it remains a vicious lie. The narrative that I'm an anti-Semite and that I'm promoting fascism by wearing a leather coat and that I'm heavy symbols, which are crossed hammers, by the way, not swastikas or anything that is literally Nazi, Third Reich, German. 40 years I've been doing 40 years. every single year almost between 1980 and now. I've been doing bits of that show. Why now? Why suddenly now would people be picking up and going, he's wearing a replica of a Nazi uniform on stage. He's obviously glorifying the Third Reich and Nazism. He's doing that as part of his general attitude, which is that he hates Jewish people. All over, all the press in the Western world, everything, Roger Waters, anti-Semite, glorifying Nazism, wearing a thing. Okay, well, if we could deconstruct that little bit. In my piece, The Wall, at the end of the fascist bit, in the film, it's Bob Geldof, when he's the fascist leader, he's singing all this stuff, which I wrote, about who they are, the forces of evil. And they're in the song Waiting for the Worms. They're waiting to take over the world, waiting to cut out the deadwood.
Yeah, I got to stop it there so we don't get hit for copyright because this song is playing. But yeah, I wanted to play that clip. Thoughts? Oh, you're muted.
There.
There
Better.
you go. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, of course, I've been a staunch supporter of Rogers and a huge Pink Floyd fan all my life. I'm going to stand with Roger Waters no matter what. I put out a tweet, this week during all of this kerfuffle over Roger Waters. And I just said, unless he eats a baby or shoots somebody, I'm going to stand by him forever. You can't shake my faith in Roger Waters. I don't care how much bullshit you put out there about him. I don't know the man personally, but I do have friends who do know Roger personally. And he really is that good person that they say he is. It's been confirmed to me that he's a very good person and is anything but an anti-Semite, for crying out loud. And, they've been saying that about him for years, but only these past couple of weeks has it really blown up. And it's become an issue more over the past year since the war in Ukraine began.
That's right.
And especially in Germany, because Germany's turning kind of Nazi these days.
Yeah.
I'm not going to lie. They've got some draconian censorship laws now in Germany. They're prosecuting journalists like Alina Lipp for reporting the other side of the war, prosecuting her for disinformation. These are Nazi tactics, and I see Germany going in that Nazi direction again. And yet they're doing it in such a disingenuous and slimy way by pretending to be friends of the Jews. Whoa, wait a minute. That's a new twist on Nazism, isn't it? No, we love the Jews now. I mean, we're Nazis and stuff. We dig Hitler, but we love Jews. Okay. And so then the Berlin police opened a formal investigation into Waters. I thought they were going to arrest him while he was on tour through Germany. I thought, oh my God, what if they arrest Roger Waters? I just wanted him to get out of the country. Like, please run while you still can, because I feel like Nazi Germany has him on some kind of a list, a hit list. And, he actually is on the kill list for Ukraine.
That's right.
They mean to kill that man. And I don't think he's safe in Germany. I'm not so sure he's safe in any of the NATO countries. And that's sad because he's been touring Europe for 50 years or more. And
at this point, I'm beginning to wonder if anyone is safe.
Right. And, my guy, Bobby Kennedy, got in a lot of trouble. Did you hear about this? He also loves Roger Waters. And Bobby put out a tweet. I could try to find it for you, in support of Roger. And he said something along the lines of, Roger, you are the hero that George Orwell had in mind when he wrote 1984, and he was supportive of Roger. And then he deleted it under an intense amount of pressure. There was pressure brought to bear by the pro-Israel lobby, and they're very powerful. They came down on Bobby like those marching hammers in the Pink Floyd's The Wall. Mm-hmm. They came down on him hard, and then he had to delete the tweet that he put out in support of Roger Waters. and issued a new tweet saying, "Oh, I support Israel's right to exist, and I'm not an anti-Semite, and please don't label me that way." And it just made me sad because I know he loves Roger. They've probably known each other for a long time, and he had to back off his support of Roger Waters, because when you're running for president in the United States, you absolutely must kiss up to Israel. It's an unwritten rule, sort of like the rule like you have to call Putin a gangster, a bully, and a thug. You also have to say, I support Israel's right to exist. And my friend Don DeBar, cameraman, interviewed Bobby last week at the New Hampshire State Senate. They did a little press scrum, and he asked him about this whole kerfuffle.
Mr. Kenny, a lot of people are confused about the tweet storm. I call it the tweet heard around the world. A couple tweets were put up in support of Roger Waters and then taken down. Do you want to give us a little explanation of why they were taken down, and also your stance on Israel and Palestine?
I tweeted that. I made the tweet applauding Roger Waters' courage in opposing the COVID mandates and the Ukraine war. I was unaware of his position on Israel, and when I learned that, I immediately took it down. My position of Israel is that I support Israel. My family has a long relationship with Israel. I support its right to exist and its right to protect its security.
And the Palestinians?
And a humane outcome and a recognition ultimately of the aspirations of the Palestinian people is important for everybody.
Thank you.
It caused a wave of outrage against Kennedy online. He was being attacked by both the pro-Israel forces and the pro-Palestine forces. It's a deal breaker for a lot of voters who support Palestine. When they heard Kennedy make those remarks this week and delete his tweet supporting Roger Waters, they said, that's it. I'm not going to vote for this guy. He's a shill for Israel. It turned into a big mess. And my friend Don DeBar asked him about it. And of course, Bobby gave the obligatory, I support Israel's right to exist line. And then he was asked, well, what about the Palestinians? There's two sides to this story. What about them? But they had to prompt him to say something about the Palestinians. And of course, Bobby tried to resolve it by saying they deserve their human rights too. But the whole thing just came off bad on both sides, unfortunately. And it's not. It's a really, really touchy issue for the Kennedys in particular, because his father and uncle both supported Israel since 1948, since the very creation of Israel. And of course, we know the story. We were talking with Lisa Pease here last Sunday about the RFK assassination. Mm-hmm. And supposedly, the official story is that Sirhan Sirhan did what he did because he was a Palestinian who was angry at Kennedy because Kennedy was, arming Israel. So this is a really, really touchy subject if your name is Bobby Kennedy.
This has been a Maverick Multimedia production.